Alright, it's been a while since I made a video, but now I'm making one and it was a serious problem. Welcome everybody at your face. So, with everything being said, I had an issue weeks ago, and leading up to this issue, I'll talk about before all this. Well over a year ago, I ended up updating the BIOS in my MSI motherboard. I have a 460 M VDH Pro Wi-Fi motherboard. So with all that being said, it's an older one, but still, I ended up updating the BIOS. Well, the issue I was having was after I did that, I was getting blue screening. I got about 3 of them, and then after about 6 months, everything was good leading up to this point. Weeks ago, all of a sudden, I ended up getting a black screen because I was updating the NVIDIA graphics card, and I was updating it. With that being said, I ended up getting black screened. In the process, when I was updating the graphics card, I was putting the girls upstairs in bed, and I go to come downstairs, and as I come downstairs, I notice my screens are in rest mode. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just updating. It does its thing when it does that. It black screens, whatnot. I go get something to drink, come back 10 minutes. It's still in rest mode. I'm like, all right, when's it going to come back? All of a sudden, I waited about 15, 20 more minutes, still black screen. So I power down the system like normally you wouldn't do, but in case you have a problem, I did that right there. All of a sudden, I go to power it back up, black screen. Nothing. No boot, no logo, nothing. So I've searched in forums, Reddit, YouTube. I'm not seeing nothing at all. I'm getting trolls telling me, oh, reseat your GPU, switch your RAM out, do this, do that. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like, you got trolls 1000 out there just pumping you with dumb, stupid information. Yes, that could be a problem, but that wasn't my problem because how many times I had to pull that GPU out and everything and put it back in. With that being said, too, I knew not to mess with the RAM because in order to access that RAM right there, I would have to remove the radiator and drop that down to pull the RAM out. So I'm like, I ain't doing all that mess. Well, it did this when I was doing the NVIDIA update for the drivers. And I'm like, is this motherboard related? Graphics, whatever. Well, my problem I was having, I could not get the screen to display. So with all that being said, I couldn't even get a boot screen. Well, come to find out, I ended up having to take this over to a buddy's house. Got back last night. After about almost 5 hours of digging into this, what we found out and everything, I found a thread, and I had to go from a thread into a thread into a thread. And I finally fell into the rabbit hole, and I stumbled across this one message. And the person recommended this. I did this, but not as to the far extent. The JBAT, right up underneath the graphics card behind there, you'll find 2 pins. On this motherboard, it's 2 pins. It could be different for your motherboard, but there's 2 pins there, and there's a watch battery right near it. That's called your CMOS battery. If you touch them 2 pins, which you take a screwdriver and make sure that the screwdriver's touching both at the same time, for 5 to 10 seconds, it will reset your motherboard, your settings and all that. How I know it worked is because the GPU fans stopped coming on. I have it cranked to where all the fans are on, it sounds like a jet engine in here to help keep it cool. Well, all of a sudden, I pulled the CMOS battery for about 15 minutes. I don't think it was long enough because I did what this person recommended. Remove all storage devices and the drivers itself. So I disconnected the storage devices, my C drive, my D drive, and my F drive, which would be my NVMe. I removed that out even. Removed the CMOS battery for 30 minutes. exactly at 30 minutes. I put the battery back in, did not connect the storage devices, but plugged in. Boom. We have picture. Of course, it loads into BIOS. I come back. I made a video just before this of me showing that it was going to come on. It won't come on. Come to find out, I had to go back into the system and run it just HDMI directly off the board and update the drivers again on the graphics card. Now I can use DisplayPort. I couldn't use DisplayPort because I needed to update the graphics card again. Now I did that. Now I got picture. So I have the PC back up and running. Well, I'm thinking what happened is something happened updating the graphics card and the graphics got knocked out and we lost picture. So if you guys are experiencing the same problem from an update or something happening, what I would recommend, pulling that CMOS battery and pulling your storage devices. Do that for about 30 minutes. Put your battery back in. Do not plug your storage devices in yet, but power it back on and get into your BIOS. And you should be able to get your picture back, all like your display, all of it. And I tell you what, this worked wonders because I thought I bricked the motherboard. I seriously thought it was done. But yeah, it's with my problem. I don't know if anybody else was having this problem or whatnot. It could be as simple as that. And I was like immediately freaking out. I thought I was like done and out until I could do this full upgrade coming up here soon. But I'm going to do a major overhaul. I'm switching from NVIDIA over to AMD. I'm going to AMD. I found a Z690 motherboard, DDR5. This is full DDR4. I will be selling this whole unit other than the GPU and my storage device there. And possibly this will be going with it too, because I'm going to have a full case and I'm going to need a 360 millimeter radiator. But yeah, I'll probably be selling this whole rig itself, because also the CPU, I will be going to a 7950X CPU. Eventually I'll switch out the GPU, but for right now I'll be keeping this one. But yeah, this has got a 650 watt power supply in it, and I got to get a 1000 watt power supply to power all that shit up. And then of course the DDR5 RAM, that's DDR4 32 gigs. So yeah, if you're going to be going to a newer motherboard, everything's DDR5 damn near anymore. So all right, with that being said, I hope this helps anybody else out who has that same issue and problem. So all right, much love everybody. Peace.